everyone, this is Tricia and welcome to my channel. Today I'm going to be making a windmill pocket wall hanging. Now I've got some supplies here to create this decor that I want to have. So let me tell you what my supplies are. The first thing that I purchased was some metal sheeting. This is a 36 gauge aluminum type of foil, if you want to call it a foil. You can use maybe some scrapbook paper that looks like a, like a metal finish to it, or you can even use a poster board and paint it. I did look up several videos because I wanted to make sure that no one was using what I'm using, and I found that pretty much a lot of people are using the poster board route, which is awesome. One person even used placemats from the Dollar Tree to cut out the blades for the windmill, so you can use that as well. But this is what my sheet metal looks like, so that you get an idea. It is like a foil, but it's quite thick. There are some thicker pieces of metal that come in sheets. You can use those as well, as long as you have some metal shears, and I've got those as well. So you're going to need that. I've got 2 rolls of this, but I think I'm only going to use one, but I grabbed both. This one happens to be a 12-inch by 30-inch, in case you're wondering, so that you can get a good idea of how much you're going to need. You're also going to be needing some wire, some metal wire. You can use whatever color you find. You can just paint it. I happen to have some silver already, so that's what I'm going to use. And I did get this in a little package of 4 from the Dollar Tree, so this is an inexpensive wire. Okay, so I'm also going to be using some dowel sticks. These are little wooden sticks, and these are the sizes, whatever I mentioned here, are the sizes that I'm going to be using. You adjust them to whatever size you want to create. Now these, what I have here are 1/4 inch by 36 inch, and I've got 2 of those. And then I've also got 3/16 inch by 36 inches, 2 of those as well. And then I've got a 1/8 inch by 36 inch, and I've got 2 of those as well. I've got some scrap fabric, or you can use burlap or whatever printed fabric that you feel would be nice for your little pockets. I've got some rope string. You can use ribbon if you prefer, or just use wire. And I'm going to be using, I'm actually going to put a little floral arrangement in one. So I do have a scrap piece of styrofoam, and I've got some greenery here. Now I'm going to be using some paints, and I've got myself some metallic silver paint. You could use a spray paint instead and spray paint your wooden dowels. I'm going to go ahead and use this metallic brush on paint, so I have a brush for that. I'm also going to be using some brown, like a dark brown, and then I've got like a chocolate, almost kind of rust color brown. These are just plain craft paints or acrylic paints, all of them. And I've got a little bit of a sponge here. This is a sea sponge that I'm going to be, using for like dabbing some color to make it look like some rust on my blades, on my windmill blades. Now the tools that I'm going to be using, I'm going to be needing a straight edge, something to mark with. I'm just using a pencil. I've got a hole punch. So make sure your hole punch is strong enough to go through whatever metal sheeting you have, or if you have one that you can just do a little hammering with, that'll be great. Some wire cutters, and I mentioned my metal shears. I've got my hot glue gun, but I've also got some, like a fix-all adhesive or a super glue, or an E6000 or your Gorilla Glue. Just a glue that that you can trust to hold things together. Of course, I'm using my hot glue gun because, as you all should know by now, some of you that have been watching, I use the glue gun to get everything stuck together quick and fast for my videos, but also because I do tend to take things apart a lot and reuse them. Okay, so then I don't need like a really strong glue to hold things together. But that's just for my purposes. Okay, for you, get yourself the glue that you like to use. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take all of these little sticks, and I need to cut them to the sizes that I want. Well, I'm not going to cut all of them. So the 2 wider sticks, or thicker sticks that I have here, which, like I said, these are my measurements for my windmill. If you want to follow exactly the 1/4 inch ones, I think I'm going to keep them at their length. I think I'm going to cut about maybe 6 or 8 inches off of each one, okay? So go ahead and cut that. Prepare that, and then you can go ahead and paint them. And the reason that I say paint after you is that way you can do little markings and then cut and then paint. Okay, so that's what I'm going to have cut into them. These little thin ones, very, very tiny ones, are the 1/8 inch wide or thickness. I decided that I was going to do them at 6 inches. Now these are going to be the little sticks that are going to be behind each blade. They're going to be going into the center of my windmill. So that's what I'm cutting at that size. These other ones are going to be for some decorative parts on the actual sticks that are going down on my windmill, like their stand or the base of the windmill. So I don't know exactly what I'm going to cut them at. So I'm going to go ahead and paint these first, and then I'll be marking them as I go along. And if I need to do any little touch-ups, I can while they're, it's already been put together. All right, so I've already done some samples and I've already cut them out, and I've got a couple here, and I decided to go with mine to be 6 inches long, and then they're 3 inches at one end, and they're 1.5 inch at the other end. So that's what I did. I've cut those. Now I've actually cut 2 of them because I wanted to see how many I was going to need. So I went ahead and I put them on my table across from each other, more or less how far I wanted them. And then, I did this and that. So I decided that I'm going to do 1, 2, 3, 4. And then in between that, 1, 2, 3, 4. So that's 8. So I'm going to have 8 blades. Now for a nice windmill, nice round windmill, I suggest that you do about 8 blades at the least. I've seen some that have up to 18. So that all just depends on how much supplies you have, what you want to cut, but at least 8 of them. If you want to go as little as 6, that's fine, to make them a little bit wider and maybe a little more condensed, a little smaller on your windmill. Okay, so that's the size that I'm cutting, all right? And I'm going to be cutting, I said 8. I might cut 10 of them just for the heck of it, just to see how that's going to go. So I need to do that, and then I shall be back. I'll have these painted. All right, all my stick pieces are painted. There's some little spots that I didn't finish painting on some of the tips here, but that's okay. I may not even need that part. If I do, I'll just paint that. And of course, some of these little tips are going to get hidden away, so I didn't have to worry about it. All right, so now I'm cutting the blades, and I said I'd be back when this was all done, but I thought I'd go ahead and show you how I did it. So I unrolled this, and then I turned it around this way actually, because then it was easier to flatten it down and it wouldn't keep rolling up on me. So that's what we're going to do, and I'm just going to measure 3 inches in, make a little mark, and then a straight one right here. Right, let's see, it's right here, my mark, and this one here. Okay, now I can make a line. I'll do a little bit of a bend here. Okay, now I'm going to measure another. Okay. And then I can now take my metal cutting shears. Or if you got some good heavy duty scissors, you can use that. Okay, so now what I'm going to do, because this is 12 inches, I'm going to mark it at 6 inches. And then that will get halved. Okay, let's go ahead and cut. Oops, I didn't go off. Now, like I said, I want it to be 3 inches at one end and then 1.5 over here, just like this one here. So all I did was I actually measured in 1/4 inch right here, and then another 1/4 inch over here on the other side. And then from this little mark to the outer edge, make a mark there, and then you'll do the same thing on the other side. Right here, all the way to the edge, and make a mark. Of course, once you've cut one, you can just use that as your pattern and put it on to the next sheet. Let's do that. Put it onto a new sheet that hasn't been marked, like that. And then you can use your pen there. Try not to go into it like I did. Okay, so then we go do the other one now. And I just did it again. Okay. There we go. We'll just wipe that off, no big deal. It's pretty much the same on both sides. So anyway, now that I've got it, my lines marked, now I can go ahead and cut that. And do the other one. I've noticed that some of these, you know, windmill blades, some of the windmills that some people have been doing, they are taking the little corners and kind of bending them like that. So we can do that, a little bend like that. Just bend in the little corners, and they don't all have to be the same, but you can do that. That'll look cute. Okay, so then I also want to do my little puncturing of my little hole, so I just use the measurement of a hole punch, you know, bring it all the way to as far as I can on there. Basically try to center it, and then just get that little piece off. Okay, so that's what you can do. Let's get this one done like that as well. I don't want to bend them too much, just a little bit, just to give it some dimension so they're not so flat. Okay, so there we go. I've got 3 here. I'm going to do a 4th one, and then I'm actually going to do another 4, so I will be back once I've got all 8 of my blades done. Alright, so I'm back and I've finished these pieces. I said I would do 8, maybe 10, and I'm kind of tempted to do 10 because I think maybe an extra 2 here would make this a real nice and tight kind of a windmill. So I think I am going to cut another 2. But in the meantime, I want a circle. Let me go ahead and put these back like the way that I had them. So more or less how I had them. Okay, so I want a little circle here in the middle where everything's going to meet. And I found this, not found, but I had this roll of floral tape, whatever, you know, that's what it is. And what I needed was something round to use as a pattern, and this inside part here is about 1.25 inches, or let me see, I don't remember if it was 1.25 inches or 1.75 inches. Okay, it's 1.75 inches in diameter. Okay, so that's the measurement that I'm using to go along with everything else. Okay, so I want to cut a circle, but I actually want to cut 2 of them. So again, I'm going to take more of this. Let me go ahead and measure out my 3 inches, and then I can cut. Okay, so those are the 2 pieces, and I'll do the cutting on them to look like these in a moment. But here, let's go ahead and get to this part where I'm going to mark 2 pieces. 1. And even after I've marked them, I feel like, well, they're kind of small, but I'm just going to do that. Okay, so let's get that one, and then this one. All right, so I just want to cut that circle out. I know you probably can't see it where I've marked it. Let's like go like that, maybe. With the light kind of moving around, you can see where I marked the circle. But that's what I'm cutting out, and I shall be back once those 2 are cut out. Alright, I'm realizing this is probably a really pretty bad project to do in the camera because it's very reflective. But anyway, I've got 10 pieces now. I think it's going to make a nicer windmill. And then I've got 2 of those pieces, and only because it's so thin and I kind of want to like double them up, like sandwich them up and make them thicker. So let's go ahead and form our little circle again. You could do some very, you know, detailed measuring if you wanted to do that. So this is what my this is why I said I probably want this a little bit bigger. So I don't know, I'm just gonna go with that for now. I'll see. I might have to cut another 2 and just make it a little bit bigger, but I've got plenty of this metal, so I'm not gonna worry about it. Let's see. Now what I want to do is I want to take these little thin sticks, the ones that I cut into 6-inch pieces. So here I have those little sticks. So what I'm going to do is I decided that I was going to go in, you know, halfway into the little blade. So really and truly I want to do it from behind. So don't worry about, you know, bending these little edges till you've got all this all glued on. So anyway, so I'm going to go like halfway into it and then glue this on here like so, because I want to make sure that I've got plenty of stick on my blade, that it's not like on the little edge here and then it might flip around, you know, or flop around. Or you can even cut them a little bit longer if that's what you want. But I thought this was good enough, like at least halfway into the blade. So 3 inches of my 6-inch stick will be in there. That's what I mean. Like if you're painting these, you can hold it in your hand and paint it. Don't worry about doing like half of it even, because you're not even going to see it. It's going to be in the back. So now I'm just going to put some glue. Oh my goodness. And of course you want to use your, you know, your Fix-All adhesive. I'm just going to use my hot glue gun for the purpose of the video. Get that one on there. So I want to do the next one. And I want to get it about the same. So I need glue on my glue gun, excuse me. I'm going to get that on there. And that's about the same. There we go, just like that. So now we want to get all our sticks on there. Now, of course, this one I put it on the, I'll just bend this over this way and do it like that. Okay, so don't worry about bending the little edges till you've got all your little sticks on there. So for now, we're not going to worry. Okay, so I'm going to get all my little sticks on my blades, and then I shall be back. Okay, I'm back with all of these already glued. So now I want to get them on the little center thing here. So I'm going to slide this underneath. And I've gone ahead and I've sort of placed these, or spaced them I should say, where I have to now do it all over again because everything just moves. You move one and then everything else moves. Okay, so then you want to space these blades. See, like these are closer together. And these aren't, and these have lots of space here. So I'm just going to move them over. And just keep working it till you've got it more or less as close as you can get it to be, you know, almost even. So like if you had extra ones in here, they could be a little bit tighter. Some of them could be like kind of overlapping another blade. And then you could do the little bending of the, maybe on just one side of the blade. So that looks kind of cool. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and start splattering some glue in there just to hold these down. Before it dries up, get these pieces. There we go. That's actually works a little bit better if you actually put lots of wet glue on it. A big dollop, because that'll take longer to dry, but at the same time it's kind of holding everything, so it keeps them from sliding in and out. Okay, all right, so once that's dry, oops, sorry, we'll just get some of that glue between these guys, and it's also kind of forming a little bit of a, you know, like a thicker, you know, center part here with all that glue. You know what, I'm thinking we'll put this one right on top of here on this side, on the back of it. Okay, so we're going to let that dry. It's nice and hot, by the way. So we're going to let that dry really well. And we're going to go ahead and go to the next step, which is putting the base together. So I'll be right back so I can figure out, slide this over some way, get some of this stuff out of the way, and I'll be back. All right, everyone, we're at this next step. What I've gone ahead and I did is I ended up cutting another one of these foil circles. And, oops, sorry, let's put that back. I ended up doing a 2.5 inch diameter and put that right in the middle. As you can see, there's the smaller one. I don't know if you could tell the difference against it, but the smaller one is on there. And then I had put the other one on this side. Well, I went ahead and I put yet another one on there. I felt like it was a little too small at the center, so I made it a little bit bigger. Okay, we're going to put that to the side. So these that the thicker ones that I bought, that I cut off 8 inches off of, we're going to put those to the side. Then we need to decide how wide we want to make this, and we're going to do sort of like an A, right? We're going to do like an A, but we're not going to completely close. We're going to have this open. Something like that. Let's just use these little sticks to kind of help keep it open. I think that'll be good right there. Okay. That's not what I want these sticks there for. I want this one here for that. But now that I can see that this 8 inch is a perfectly good measurement for that, I'm going to go ahead and cut that out. So I'm going to mark it at 8 inches. Now obviously the other one's going to be a little bit higher. It's not going to be 8 inches. As a matter of fact, I don't want to cut it yet. Let me think. Hold on, because this is 8-inch separation here, but I don't know where I'm going to put my little pockets. So actually, I'm going to go a little bit lower. I'm actually going to go ahead and measure 9 inches instead of 8 inches. Okay. That's it. Let's do it at 9 inches. Okay. Here we go. And don't worry about any pencil marks that you made, because we're going to touch this up with some more paint. Okay, so now at the 9-inch. There, that's good. Okay, so what I'm going to do is now measure somewhere way up here. And I'm going to do a 4-inch. So let me get this one out of the way, because I don't want to confuse it with the one that I've already been cutting from. And I'm going to do 4-inch piece. Now you want to put this one as low as you can, but not too low, because you want to give it that base like a windmill would have. It has like the feet at the bottom. Okay, this is 4 inches, and I'm going to go way up here as long as everything is touching. Fantastic. Okay, so now I want to glue these parts. Again, use the glue of your choice. I'm going to put these together, but I don't want them to stick to my table, so gotta lift it up and make sure the glue is not there. Okay. There we go. And now we want to do the top part. And of course you want to make sure that it's about the same, as close as you can, the measurement. Let's get another little bit in there, get that one over here. Okay, so now that we've got this secured to the size that as far as we want it open, now we can go ahead and we're going to put another piece right up here. So I'm going to kind of eyeball that one. It doesn't really matter. And just like that. Because I'm going to put a piece of aluminum across that piece right here. Okay, this will get glued. Excuse my sniffles, everybody. This will get glued to the top edge here. And it doesn't have to be exact, because we're going to cover it. So we're going to take a piece of aluminum and cover that up. Okay, so now that we've got this base done, we're going to add some more here in the middle, and I want to do like a little crisscross, but we're not there yet, okay? And we're still, oh no, now we're going to work with these two guys. These two guys are going to go meet up at the back, at the top here, right up here. They're going to be meeting up back behind this windmill blades. So these are going to be at an A, okay? Right there. And now I want a piece of metal going across here that's going to kind of hide all of that. So I need to cut a piece. And I'm back. Okay, so the piece that I want right here, I just want like a thin piece. And this is, if I put my ruler on there, this piece of metal actually makes a nice size. And if I move it over and decide, you know what, I like it at 4.5 inches. So I'm going to go across the edge here on the bottom and measure 4.5, and then just trace around that, and then cut my edge here. And I'm going to cut this out, and I'll be back. Okay, so I have that little piece already cut out, so I'm going to take these two, and they're going to get glued at the top against each other, and then onto the back. And I'm going to leave a little bit of space here, because that's going to rest on top of this piece of wood here. So let's glue them at the top so they don't move around on me. So now that I've got it like so, I'm going to go ahead and put glue along this piece here, and then I can take this one and turn it around and rest it. Just make sure that I've got about the same amount going out this way and this way along the edges, okay? And if you went a little too far to one side, instead of trying to unglue it and stick it back on, what you can do is just trim. Okay, so I'm going to lift this up so I can look at it. There we go. I want to look at it like this, and I'm actually going to turn it around now to the back side, because I want to make sure these little metal edges don't get all bent, and I also want to put more glue. Make sure none of this, comes off. Okay, now, all right, so I've gotten a little bit ahead of myself, and I've actually added another stick here underneath this one, the first one that I put here, and then I've done the same over here. I put an extra stick on top of this one, and I've, let me see, this one is about 2 3/4 inch apart, and it is almost 5 inches here. Let's try that again. Oh, sorry, 4 3/4. I was measuring the wrong spaces. This one's about 8 inches, just a tad bigger, and the spacing between them is about 4 inches. I'm looking at this and it looks a little crooked, but I don't care because it's going to get hidden behind the blades. Now I've gone ahead and I put another little piece of this metal on the back side because I didn't like the way it looks, and then I'm looking at the front here, and I think I'm going to do the same thing like I did over here where I doubled it. So I'm probably going to cut another piece, put it on top of here, but I had turned it over to the back because I wanted to add more glues to make sure everything's like really, of course you use the other glues, the better glues for this. Okay, so I'm back, and I've decided to think about some things, how I want to do my pockets, and I decided that I want to do like a piece that kind of comes down kind of wide like that, and it'll just be like one piece of fabric here that I can tie to here and there. It'll have like a little pocket, like a little pouch, like 2 of them actually. So these parts right here, what I want to do is I want to create some crisscrossing here. So I've gone ahead and I've already cut this piece that goes, beyond to this end and then to this end, that size. So I'm going to need another one to go across, but then I'm thinking that the next one that goes across is going to end up on top of this one, and so forth. It's not touching. So what I need to do is I need to put this one first, get it to glue down, and then cut a piece that'll meet somewhere in the middle here, cut it right there, and then another piece to come out this way, and try to get it as straight as I can. So that's what I'm going to do. And so this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to cut it actually the same length. Let's get that cut off. Okay. And I'm going to do the same thing to this top part over here. So this is what I'm going to do. Let's get this one on here first, resting well on there. Let's get that glue on there so it'll rest on there. There we go, right there and right there. Then I'm going to want this one to go across like that, so right here. And if it's easier for you to make a pencil mark, which I'm trying to grab my pencil here, do so. So I'm going to grab this like that, and I'm going to make a little mark under here and then one here. So I know that the sticks have to rest somewhere between this marking that I made here, and this is going to be about right there. So I've got to make a little marking and cut it right there. So now when I put these here, I will kind of angle. So now it's touching the bottom part, and then this one will go over here. Just spread them out a little bit. And this one will be touching over here as well as they'll be touching there. So they're going kind of like in a little bit of an angle downward. But if there were one stick, I wouldn't be able to do that. But I can if I cut them in half. So I'm going to do that, and then I'm going to do this top part, and I shall be back. Okay, so this is almost completely dry. I've done a lot of placing of a lot of glue everywhere in these little spots. I needed to do over here as well. But I've placed a lot of glue behind here on these guys here to make sure that they're all going to stay in place. And now I want to put it with the top part of the windmill. Now, like I said, if you decide that you want to recreate this, but you don't want to do the pouch thing that I'm going to be doing in here, the little pockets, and you just want to skip that, then do the same little design here and here. Do it somewhere in the middle, or maybe make these a little bit wider. Okay, so now I turned this over. This is the front of it, and I've turned it over, and this is still the back of this one. So I'm going to put it against here. Now I was looking at the little extra thing that comes out of the windmills, and they usually come out of the back of them. They don't come out the front. And I thought, well, it's probably not even going to show. I don't really have a stick that's long enough to make it come out all the way over here. I did buy extra sticks and I could paint them, but you know, it's getting late for me. It's already evening, and this video is not out at the time that I normally do put it out, or yeah, probably not even the day. So I'm going to skip that, and I'm going to go ahead and put this on here. Again, now once I glue this down, I want to put more glue over it to make sure that I encase the stick into it. Now, I also want to put something here where I can hang it from. So I'm going to take a little bit of this wire that I need to now also put around through those little holes that I made. So that's why another reason why I wanted to skip with that other plan, because it's taking too much time. So now I'm going to wrap this around my thumb here to make a little loop like that, and then I can just twist the rest of it here and then put it. I'm going to bend this upward, you know, like upward a little bit this way so it's not straight, and then I can push the wires, the ends of them, into between the little sticks there, and now I can put more glue and basically encase the tips of these, the base, the wood part here, onto the back of this part, and we're going to let that dry completely, and then we're going to come back and we're going to take this wire and we're going to get a nice long piece, and then we're going to take it through the holes, in and out, all the way around, and then we'll turn it around actually to do that, so that we can get this blade right here, and then we'll finish, because I did already kind of fold the edges in where, you know, towards the front, but we'll fix that up once we turn it around. So I'm gonna let this dry up really well. I'll be back. Okay, so what I'm doing now is I'm taking some of this wire and I'm trying to unravel a good long piece of wire that I can use to go all the way around. And so far I don't even have half of the length, so I gotta keep doing this. Okay, so I've cut what I think is, or not cut, but I've unraveled what I think is long enough, and I'm gonna cut that off. Okay, so we're gonna take this and I'm going to now pull on it and hopefully straighten it as best as I can. So now what I want to do is I can start at any one of these, it doesn't matter, and just go into the little hole. Okay, and then up and down into the little hole. From behind it, come up and then into the little hole. And you're just going to do this all the way around. So I'm just going to feed a little bit more of this. Okay, so again, go down into it. It's almost like I'm sewing this, okay? Turn this around so I can look at it from this side and work a little bit better. See if this helps me. Yeah, a little bit. I'm getting to the end here, and I'm going to go ahead and cut, because I did have a little too much. I'm going to cut a little bit further than I think I need, and I had this little piece left over, so let's put that over there. So now I want to get these ends, and I want to twist them together, but I don't want to twist them here where you can see them. I want to twist it back here somewhere. But first, you know, try to get this as close to round as you can before you do that. Let me pick it up and look at it. Already close. Okay, so now I'm going to go ahead and start doing this a little bit. is where they'll meet, so I'll twist them way back behind this one. You can turn it around with the front facing downward if it's easier for you, and then do all that, you know. So I'm just going to twist it a little bit here, and then get these ends together, and then just trim off the excess, and then bend this down towards the blade so that it's not going to be scratching the wall. Oh gosh, I think it looks really pretty so far, just like that. And I just made that extra little bit here, but I already said I'm going to do a little pocket. So I'm going to go ahead and get my fabric so I can get ready to do that, and then I'll worry about straightening all this. I'm going to take the brown paints that I have here. I'm going to take this sponge here. I'm going to get it wet, and I'm going to take the brown, the dark brown first, and I'm going to be like splattering it here, you know, like sponging it here and there. Not only on the metal part, but the wood parts here also, to give it a little bit of a worn look. And then this more like more caramelly brown, or if you want to get like a rust color, do that. Then get that one and then sponge it on top. So let me go get my sponge wet and get some of this on a little plate or something so that I can go ahead and do that paint effect, so that you can see how to do it, and then you can finish it off, and then we'll do the pocket. And sorry this video is so long. Okay, I'm actually going to cut my little sponge in half, so I have 2 pieces. And I'm going to take the darker brown paint first, and I'm just going to pick up a little bit, paint it a little bit at a time. So pick it up on your sponge and then kind of dab it off, so you just have a little bit on there. And let's start putting some on there. Try to get it like on the edges. Try to get it on this little metal wire. So now you want to do the same thing and add this other more rusty color. Hey guys, I've added a lot of this color also, but then I'm liking how it's kind of dulling the bright, you know, reflective metal. So I'm going to go ahead and add a little bit of this one here, because this is more, you know, it doesn't have as much of a shine obviously. So I'm going to add some of that onto it, and it kind of gives it more of a galvanized metal look, and I really, really like that. Okay. That really, really looks good on there. Okay, so I've been putting the silver on it, and it's kind of dulled a little bit of the metallic. It's not quite as reflective, and I like how it's given it, I don't know if I already said this, but it's given it a galvanized metal look, and I'm kind of going a little crazy with it. So now what I want to do is I want to, obviously when it lets dry, but I want to go ahead and start bending these little guys just a little bit. Like so. But when I do that, now I have the back here does not have that look, so I want to make sure I paint that. So I'm going to start bending these right now. So I'm doing this part of it, which will probably show. And if you want to do, you know, because if you want to let it completely dry and then turn it around, just do this. And then paint the other side, go for it. And it kind of helps a little bit to do that little, those little edges there that are gonna kind of show. And also putting this gray, you know, once you've done the browns, if you feel like, okay, well maybe I did a little too much, then you can touch over those particular spots and remove some of what you did with the other paint. Now, once you've gotten the the silver on there. And the really nice thing about it too is it's drying really well on here. But I will let you know that if you try to come over it and wipe it, you might be able to scratch that paint off, okay? Because like I said, it's not a metal paint, it's just an acrylic paint. So maybe you want to go ahead and get yourself, I was trying to save some money, guys. And this is just a little decor that's not very expensive, and I probably won't keep it up, you know, much. I'll just probably have it on there for some time just because it's fun and it's inexpensive. And then if you want to, you know, get rid of the look and do something else in your home, you can, because it didn't cost you too much. So you don't have to worry about spending, you know, but if you're gonna do this and you want to sell it, then get yourself the proper paints and such. Okay, you guys, I think I've gotten enough of all of that to kind of make it look kind of rusty and old and the way that I want it to look. I'm gonna add a little bit more here on this one, it's too shiny. And then I'll just add some of this and some of that one also, so that it doesn't look too gray. Okay, once you've done this, stop. You gotta tell yourself stop. Okay, there we go. I think it looks fantastic so far. I can't wait to do the little pocket here because now I'm really excited about doing that. So I'll be back after this is all clean, this is all dry, and we'll start doing the little pocket. Alright everyone, for this next part I'm going to need some fabric. Like I said, you could use burlap or you use your favorite printed fabric to create a little, here are a couple of pockets here that I want to do. So I've got again something to measure with, a pencil. I'm actually going to hot glue my project, so this is going to be a no-sew project. But if you want to sew it, of course you can use some hand needle, some thread, or maybe use your sewing machine. We're also going to need some scissors to cut this out. So what I'm going to do is I want to make something that's this length and the width a little bit less here and go kind of further up. So I want to cut that one first piece that's going to go in the back, and the space here, the length is going to be 14 inches and it is going to be 8 inches at the widest and about 4 3/4 at the widest up here. So the first thing we want to do, let's remind ourselves, is cut the length, which is 14 inches. So let's get just one layer of that. We don't need to cut a double, so we don't want this folded. We just want it just once like that. I'm going to measure down 14 inches. I'm just going to mark it with a pencil. And the widest part was 8 inches, so I'm going to go ahead and mark 8 inches right here, and then mark 14 right here, because this was the actual. Make sure 14 over here. 14 over here. So let's go ahead and make this line now. Going down. So we want to cut out this piece. Okay. So this is the part that's going to go here. Of course, it has to be less up here in the top. So we have to go 4 3/4. So first let's measure the center. Let's mark the center here. It's 8 inches. So 4 inches would mark the center. So I can fold it in half right there. Save myself a little bit of trouble here. And what is 4 3/4 halvesies, guys? I just remembered I needed to do some trimming up here because it wasn't straight. But, okay, that'll do it. Okay, it was just a tiny little bit. Okay, so now it folds in half just fine. So 4 would be 2 inches, and 3/4 would be, let's see, here it is right here. So that's 1 2 3 4 5 6 8. So then I should do 1 2 3 8. So it's 2 3/8. So 2 inches and 3/8 right here. And just for the heck of it, I'm going to open it up because I've got this marking and this marking. So I want to measure that. And it's, yeah, it's a little bit more. So, but that's perfectly fine. I'm going to go ahead and leave it at that. Okay, so from that marking to this outer corner, I'm going to cut just like I did the little blades on the windmill. So then you do that. And now you want to cut it. So you would probably want to pin it. Make sure it doesn't move. Okay, so there we go. That's that. And that looks nice. So this piece is going to be right in there, but now we need two little pockets here, two pouches. So I'm going to cut 2 pieces, and I can actually cut another one just like this and then cut it in half and then create pockets. But I actually want them to kind of like poof out a little bit, so I'm going to cut them a little bit wider than what this is. So I'm going to cut another piece, just maybe go, instead of 8 inches, maybe go, let's see, would 9 inches be good? Yeah, just give me a little bit of a pouch. I'm going to go maybe 10 inches. So I'm going to go cut a 14 by 10 inch. And then because this is 4 3/4, then I'm going to make it 6 3/4. So I'm just going to go like 1 inch more this way and 1 inch more that way when I trim it off and cut it. Okay, so I shall be back. All right, so this is my original piece, and I had it cut in half. Put it on here, and actually went like 1 inch wider at the bottom and on the top. So I did the same angled cut. So now what I'm going to do, this is already kind of, excuse me, it's already kind of marked in the center, so I'm going to do the same thing on this end, and then I'm going to do this one over here, and on the top part here. Let's get that marked somehow. There we go. Just to get the little centers. Okay, so this is the not so wide one, and this is going to go here, and then this is going to create the little pouches, but I want 2 pockets. And I'm going to sort of kind of cut them in half. I want this one. Let me get my measuring stick. I don't know what I did with it. I think I put it back. Yes, I did. Okay, here we go. I want to do a straight, let's see, I want it to be about this way. Wait a minute. I had it right the first time. Okay, so I want it to be about, let's see, it's 14. So if I go 6 inches, and then 6 inches from the bottom down here. I don't want the pockets to like be right on each other. So I'm going to do a 6-inch pocket here and a 6-inch pocket there. So this piece in the middle will get cut out. But it will actually get cut, yeah, out of this bigger piece, not the smaller one, okay? So let me go ahead and make a line here. And then one here. And remember, this is the part I want to cut out. Okay. Okay, we got this bottom part, and then the, we don't need this little scrap fabric. Put the scissors away. So now we've got these bigger pieces, and this bigger piece. So I'm going to take this one, and this is my bottom pocket, and I'm going to put all the marking from the pencil facing inside, so I don't have to be worrying about that. So what I'm going to do, I obviously don't want to glue the top part because that's my little pocket, but I'm going to glue the sides and glue this side over here, and then we'll worry about doing the bottom. So first we'll do the sides, and we'll do the same thing with this one up here. We'll do the sides that are going to get glued down, okay? Make sure I got some glue in my glue gun, and let's do this. Okay, let me turn this around so I can see what I'm doing. Okay. Okay. Press them together. Little pocket. Okay, now the other one. All right. Okay, so now we're going to take our little pocket. This one got glued down to here. Okay, so now we're going to take our pockets here. And where I marked the center here, that matches that center. So I'm going to put dotted glue there. to hold it down. I didn't do the marking over here, but no worries. I'll do it in a minute. Do that little dot to match that one, okay? And here I want to make like a little pleat, so I'm going to bring this over and this one over. See? Kind of like that. See the little pleat there? And maybe one will have to be on top of the other. That's okay. Do like a little pleat because that'll help you get that little poofing, okay? So let's do one side first. Get the glue in there. Get it down quick so it dries. There we go. Now we got the other piece here. We gotta put glue in there so these two pieces are glued together first. And now pop this open and do the little edge like that, and then you can put some glue right here, flip that over on top of there, and then here we have a little pouchy pocket. Okay, so we want to do the same to this one, but there we go. Okay, kind of pull the little strings there so it frays a little bit. Okay, so now we have this little 2 pocket piece, and I'm going to take my string that I had pulled out also. Let's get this on here. Okay, so now I want some pieces and I'm going to cut them about, let's see, how long is that? I'm going to go 14. I'm going to cut 4 of them at 14 inches. Come on, honey. We're almost done, guys. So 4 at 14 inches. Okay. All right. We can put this away now. Okay. We're going to take these. I'm going to turn this around so the little pouches are facing downward. And this is the back. This is halvesies right here. And I'm going to glue to the corners. Plenty of glue. This is going to be so cute. I mean, I envisioned it, but I didn't think it was, you know, halfway into it, you get tired. Or at least I do when I'm creating something that I don't know. I have it in my head, but I don't know exactly what it's going to look like. And somewhere in there, I kind of give up. I almost didn't want to put the pockets on it after all because I was just so tired. And I thought, well, I'm just going to do the same design right here. But I thought, it's just not going to be what I wanted it to be. All right, you guys, I've decided to go a little bit extra. And I've added these little strings onto the inside fold of the pockets here so that I can do a little, like a little tie. And then make a little bow there. Just like that, and then I can just trim off the strings if I feel like they're a little too long. I think that looks super cute, so I'm going to do the same to the bottom one, except I cut the strings just a little bit longer for this one, and I'm going to make a little knot on each end here. So get that, make a little knot. And see how this kind of like folds and does that like it does here on the bottom, but we're leaving it open. So if you open this up, where it folds right here, on the inside, glue the little knot. Do the same thing, but we're not going to tie this one down yet, okay? Because this is going to get pulled out, okay? It's going to get stretched out. Okay, let's go ahead and bring this over. And we're going to get it on here, and then just get it on here somehow. There we go. I think to the inside there. Okay, now we can tie this up, and then here you can also make little bows if you want, or just knot it. And then again, if you want to do some trimming, go right ahead. Okay, so I can put some little letters in that one. Okay, now we can do the bottom part. Let's get these two out of the way and tie them up as well. And, trim off if you need to do any trimming. Okay, so we're going to put the styrofoam right in here. Just close to the, push it into the bottom. And so we're going to take these, and I just dropped one, but that's okay. Okay, so I'm going to take these and I'm going to push all the greenery as high as I can. I'm going to push one in there as far into the styrofoam as it'll go. There we go. That's good. Take another one. A little bit further out. There you go. Let me cut some a little bit shorter. For the front here. I think that's good enough. I'll see once I've got it standing up if I need to put the extras in there. Okay. So now we got this, and we can go ahead and now tie it. And it doesn't make it real tight. That's what's nice about it. Just make a little bow. Get these to hang downward. I feel like I need one more. I do. Okay. Or maybe two. Just to fill in the pouch. Now let's get this one in there also. There we go. That looks so cute. All right, everybody. I believe this is my completed windmill, what did I say, 2-pocket wall decor. So I'm going to hold this up so that you can see it, how cute it is. I'm really happy with it, you guys. Okay, so let me hold it up and I shall be back. All right, everyone, here is my finished windmill pocket wall hanging. My battery's about to die, it distracted me. But here it is. I'm going to give myself a big old thumbs up. I hope that you too will give me a big old thumbs up and leave a nice comment down below. Let me know what you think. Also make sure you subscribe if you haven't already subscribed. And thank you very much to all of you who have been subscribing. Hit that notification bell. I put videos every Tuesday and every Friday and sometimes a weekend vlog. I'm going to hang this on the wall, make it look nice, and then I'll pan the camera over it so you can get a closer look at it. But what do you think, guys? I think it's wonderful. I really love it. All this time that it took me, I think it came out great. So make sure you share on your social medias, and as always, enjoy.